This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at the Home of Medicine Medical Marijuana Provisioning Center of Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Home of Medicine is excited to now be officially licensed by the state of Michigan, which means that Ohm's patients can look forward to getting their medicine from the Home of Medicine for a long time to come. Now, in their new ground floor location on South Main Street in downtown Ann Arbor, the Home of Medicine is just one of those places that feels right. You'll walk into the Home of Medicine and think to yourself, this is exactly where I need to be right now. Experience that for yourself today by visiting the Home of Medicine. If you're not lucky enough to live in or near Ann Arbor, Michigan, you can catch a little bit of that Ohm magic by visiting their website at ohmofmedicine.org, which is spelled omofmedicine.org. Big thanks to everyone at the Home of Medicine for not only supporting today's news, but for also being our longest running sponsor, coming up on 4 years now. Yay, Ohm. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Wednesday, September 26th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 578 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. We start off today with some good news, as a recent poll out of Texas suggests that longtime prohibitionist Representative Pete Sessions is in serious danger of losing his seat to his opponent in November. The Republican representative pops up in our headlines all the time because of the obstructionist iron fist in which he uses to block all proposed progressive marijuana laws from his position as chair of the House Rules Committee. Representative Sessions is being challenged by Democrat Colin Allred, who, according to a new poll by the New York Times, is now running virtually neck and neck with Sessions, with 47% of those polled favoring the Democratic challenger, while 48% favor the incumbent. While personally I think it's more important that Sessions loses in November simply because he's a Republican, it would also be pretty clutch for our industry if our greatest single congressional impediments were tossed out by voters. A good story to read in full. Deb Borchardt over at Green Market Report picked up on news of a big acquisition within marijuana media, with High Times Holdings, the parent company of High Times Magazine and the High Times Cannabis Cup, scooping up dopemedia in a deal worth $11.2 million, which will be doled out in a mix of cash and stock. dopemedia produces a well-trafficked website and print magazine in addition to their Dope Cup series, which is similar to the High Times Cannabis Cup. This is not the first marijuana media acquisition for High Times, which bought the industry lifestyle website Green Rush Daily earlier this year. With his second story out of our first three, Kyle Yeager pulls in a strong day with his pickup of a new meta-study just published this week in the journal Current Addiction Reports that examines 55 other scientific studies conducted on the effects of cannabis legalization on the marijuana usage rates by young people. After pulling in the results of those 55 other studies, the researchers behind the just published meta-study found no connection between the legalization of either adult use or medical cannabis and a rise in the number of young people choosing to consume marijuana. It's a very solid answer to what about the children? The answer is, what about them? They're fine. Swing over to Kyle's piece for more on this one, including a link through to the original study itself. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, the Home of Medicine Medical Marijuana Provisioning Center of Ann Arbor, Michigan. One of Ohm's owners, Mark, asked me to help spread the word about a very cool event coming up this Saturday on the campus of the University of Michigan, where the Green Wolverine student group is hosting a cannabis science symposium, where a number of marijuana science experts will talk about the latest developments in cannabis science, research, and industry. Noted researcher Dr. Sue Sisley will be one of those experts, in addition to Ohm's own in-house doctor, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Evan. You can learn more about the Cannabis Science Symposium, which is taking place this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Ann Arbor, Michigan, over at greenwolverine.org, which I'll leave for you to spell out. greenwolverine.org, just like the animal. if it were green. And as always, you can learn more about the Ohm of Medicine by opening up ohmofmedicine.org, which is spelled OMOF medicine.org. All right, time for the Blitz. In Utah, Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox has asked a federal judge to throw out a lawsuit seeking to block Utah voters from deciding on medical marijuana ballot measure Proposition 2 in November. The lawsuit was filed by a group of prohibitionist Mormons who claim that legal medical cannabis would somehow infringe on their religious rights to be jerks. They worded it a little differently. The Seattle Municipal Court just approved a plan that will wipe clean the criminal records of more than 500 people with nonviolent cannabis charges on their rap sheets. Seattle City Attorney Pete Holmes got the plan launched back in April when he filed a motion seeking the clearing of the charges, which were made in the years 1996 through 2010. There's a lot of backstory to this one, which Leafly's Ben Adlin does a nice job of rounding up, so I'd direct you over there to his story for more. Speaking of nice roundups over at Leafly, Dave Howard gets into the action with his story about the 3 competing marijuana ballot measures going before Missouri voters in November. The 3 voter initiatives all seek to legalize medical marijuana in different ways, with tax rates ranging from 2% up to 15%, with lots of other differing details. There's plenty of worry within the state that the glut of choices could lead to a split vote situation where none of the marijuana measures gets the majority they need. If your handle on the situation in Missouri isn't super solid, this is another good one to read today. Jumping out to California, Joey Pena over at Marijuana Business Daily looks at some of the reasons for the difficulties seen by many licensed California marijuana companies in getting their products through safety and standards testing. As recent numbers from the California Bureau of Cannabis Control show, almost a third of all edibles, tinctures, and topicals have failed mandated testing, while more than a fifth of all concentrates have done the same. As Joey's story has it, while there are products that have failed because of detected pesticides or other contamination, one of the bigger factors has been delivering as much THC as labeled. Legal California cannabis products are required to land within 10% of their stated THC content to pass, something that a lot of industry insiders are calling out as unreasonably strict, given the current difficulty of hitting that kind of precision. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo just signed legislation that will allow people to get medical marijuana recommendations instead of being prescribed opioid-based painkillers. Marijuana Business Daily is reporting that as of September 25th, New York State had 73,417 registered patients, up from just over 62,000 on July 10th. Pennsylvania State Representative Jake Wheatley announced on Monday that he would be introducing a bill to legalize the adult use of marijuana, setting up a taxed and regulated system to accompany the fledgling medical program that is currently being rolled out in the state. As of yesterday, Representative Wheatley's bill had picked up 12 co-sponsors. And finally for today, late last week, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency confirmed that non-U.S. citizens who smoke marijuana or who are involved in the marijuana industry, even where it's legal in countries like Canada, are not welcome to enter the United States. We've been on this storyline for a while now, as anecdotal stories have popped up of Canadians being turned away at the border because of their involvement in the legal marijuana industry. But on Friday, the agency in charge of borders and border crossings confirmed the policy. In the eyes of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, marijuana is illegal, and if you have anything to do with it, you can't come in. The agency also reiterated that lying about any past marijuana use will get you a lifetime ban. On behalf of America, I just want to say to everyone else, sorry about this one. Very stupid. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. In the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, the Ohm of Medicine, and to all of our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the lesser ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.